Last week, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre was asked an interesting question during a media scrum. Check out the query and Poilievre's brilliant response.
For the first time in our living memory, a U.S. president is directly threatening our country. We have an election that's only weeks away, likely. Can you walk us through why you think axe the tax is still the ballot box question for this election and not something else?
Yes, because I think that it's ironic we have an American president who's threatening tariffs on Canada, and we have a Canadian government that is threatening even more devastating tariffs on Canada in the form of a carbon tax that will rise to 61 cents a litre. You know, the only person that would like the Canadian carbon tax to go to 61 cents a litre more than the NDP Liberals is President Trump, because he'll be on the phone with our trucking companies, our factories, our mines. He'll be saying, pick up your billions of dollars and move 50 kilometers south, create the jobs for Americans, and leave the carbon tax behind.
Now, let's keep in mind that in the here and now, at least, Donald Trump's proposed tariff on certain Canadian goods is just that, a proposal. We will learn for sure in the days ahead if this is a bona fide threat or if it's just a negotiating tactic. Regardless, Mr. Poilievre is spot on. Canadians are already suffering from a special type of tariff known as the carbon tax. Coincidentally, at the precise moment I was watching this press conference, Lady Menzies was having a conniption. For a change, I was not the catalyst for this most recent meltdown, even though I typically am, and that I personally subscribe to the saying, you only annoy the ones you love. No, what had triggered my beloved bride this time around was the arrival of our most recent Enbridge natural gas bill for the period of December 6 to January 6. The bill totaled $226.11. But let's take a moment to break down the bill, shall we? For starters, the customer charge is $25.90. By the way, what's a customer charge? Well, I looked it up. The customer charge is, quote, a fixed amount that covers the cost of maintaining the natural gas distribution system. This charge is applied to every gas account, regardless of how much gas is used, end quote. Isn't this really called the cost of doing business? And isn't that Enbridge's responsibility? Put it another way, imagine taking an Uber ride, and when you get to your destination, the driver says, oh, by the way, I need to charge you an additional toonie to pay for the wear and tear on my car. Really? Isn't the wear and tear factor built into, the overall fare cost? But whatever, I guess a utility with monopoly status can do whatever the hell it damn well pleases. Anyway, here's another whopper. The bill features a delivery charge of $37.87. Delivery? Natural gas gets to our homes via a pipeline, right? It's not like there's some guy out there driving a cube van, pulling up to the curb and saying, hey there, Menzies, just dropping off this month's supply of natural gas for you. Weird. By the way, at this point, I should point out that the aforementioned delivery charge should not be confused with the transportation to Enbridge charge. That's another line item coming in at $24.19. What's a transportation to Enbridge charge? Oh, come on now, folks.
Asking all them questions. Asking all them questions. Why you asking all them questions? Making statements.
Then we have the beloved HST, of course. That totals $26.01. By the way, didn't the Liberals, when they were the opposition party back in 1993, vow to repeal the GST if elected? Whatever happened to that? Oh, and look at this. The actual gas supply charge. That sum is $48.86. That's right. Our bill is for more than $225, but the actual cost for the actual natural gas is less than 50 bucks. Talk about getting nickel and dime to death. Oops, pardon me. In my rush to break down the bill, folks, I forgot to mention the single biggest line item of all, namely the federal carbon charge of $75.03. In other words, 1/3 of the entire bill is Justin Trudeau's Save the Planet from Climate Change tax. Unbelievable. And hey, Lady Menzies is doing her very best to keep costs down. Even during a wicked cold snap, she never sets the thermostat above 19 degrees. Now, you might not think that's much of a sacrifice, but please keep in mind that Lady Menzies is an African. She's never been warm since moving to Canada. Anyway, the thing is, our story is not unique. Everyone is suffering from the carbon tax. And when Poilievre speaks of that outrageous 61 cents a liter carbon tax, hey, even if you don't drive a car, you're getting hammered. Farmers pay a carbon tax when they farm. Truckers pay a carbon tax when they make deliveries. Store owners pay a carbon tax when they operate their stores. Surely I don't have to sell anyone on the economic carnage of the carbon tax, not even hardcore liberals for that matter, because the proof in the pudding is, well, when you buy ingredients for your pudding, which is to say, just check out your grocery bill these days, folks. Bottom line, it's one thing for Canadians to be threatened with economic penalization by a foreign leader, but it's quite another picadillo when the author of such an economic screw job against Canadians just happens to be Canada's very own Prime Minister. You know, folks, there is one thing that can be done overnight to bring economic relief to millions of Canadians, and that is for Justin Trudeau to axe the tax, the carbon tax, that is. If you feel like we do, please go to our petition, stopthecarbontax.com. That's stopthecarbontax.com. Please sign that petition. We'll deliver it to the Trudeau Liberals and ask them to bring what millions of Canadians are asking for, and that is economic relief.